I'm Nikolai. I am from an investment fund called 88 miles per hour. I'm not going to talk much about our investment fund, but just a brief background is that we invest in internet startups across Africa. We're based in Nairobi in Kenya, and we have an office in Cape Town, and we're about to open this year in Lagos. So I want to talk a little bit more about the idea of pulling in investment into the mobile money space, but I'm going to talk about it a bit more from kind of a bottom-up and a product perspective of what it actually looks like from the investors and from the startup side, rather from a more, the lights are really bright, rather from like a top view of looking at what the banks and the regulators, etc. do. So, brief slide, everybody knows these figures, but running through them quickly to get you all really excited. Africa is the second biggest mobile market in the world. By 2015, there'll be more cell phones than people on this continent. There's a fast-growing middle class of consumers that can buy products from startups. And there are lots of huge cities across the continent. So we all know that Africa is very exciting. Mobile money, we also know that Africa is the leading place for mobile money, with Kenya being particularly interesting, which is also why we started our venture here in Africa in Kenya to invest in these companies. So when you got all these ingredients right, you got like the hugely interesting demographics, you've got all this interesting mobile money, which means that you can reach all these people that don't normally have credit cards, etc. How come there are not more investments pulling into this space? Why are there not more people building companies and building startups and putting in money into this space? And maybe the question should actually be a little bit more, I was thinking while these guys were talking, somebody was saying like, what's actually the point of mobile money? And that's maybe a pretty good place to start talking about the next couple of slides is why should there even, well, what's actually the point of using mobile money in the first place? Like if I need to go with the cab, I can just pay him cash. In most circumstances, it might not actually be that interesting to use mobile money. But there are a few cases. I'm going to run through a few of the investments that we've made in Kenya and kind of show like why we would make such an investment in Kenya where there is mobile money and why we would not make it in Nigeria where there really isn't mobile money. So the first case is a company called BookNow. It's a bus ticketing platform. If anybody's ever tried to take a bus in Kenya, they know that up to very recently, before these guys came online, it was a pretty gruesome experience. The only way you can get a ticket is you have to go downtown Nairobi, which is approximately as horrific in traffic as Lagos. You have to go and you have to queue, and then you have to buy a ticket. Maybe if they have tickets, you don't actually know before you get to the front of a queue. If they don't have, you have to go to the next place. It easily takes you half a day or a full day, and you have no idea if you get a ticket. The flow that you can do now in Kenya, where you have mobile money, is that you can just go to a website, you can pick your bus, you can pay with mobile money, and you get your ticket on your phone. Now in Nigeria, you can't really do the same. So for that reason, we would find such a company very interesting to invest in and help build a product around the mobile money in Kenya, but not in Nigeria. The second case is Mdundo, which is a bit of a different. It's selling content. It's selling music. So it's basically just a platform like iTunes, Spotify, where all the artists aggregate their music, and users can then buy music. So if you're a user in Nigeria and you want to buy music, actually legally go and buy music from some aggregator, you don't really have that many options. Like you can, yeah, okay, if you have a credit card, you're quite lucky. If you happen to have mobile banking set up, maybe you can find a website somewhere that would actually that would integrate and do that. But generally, it means that you can't actually purchase these products. So there's no channel for a startup to go and build any kind of company that would thrive in this industry. In Kenya, where there is mobile money, of course, it's a completely different scenario because you can, as a user, you can go in, You can pick whatever music you want, and then you just pay with mobile money, and it's instantly you get the music on your phone. You can download it. So from like the product perspective, that means that there's a lot of things that we would invest in a country where the mobile money thrives, but not in the other places. So what is it that's kind of needed to be in the environment where we would go in, again from the investor's perspective, and actually put money in some of these companies? So the mobile money, it needs to be instant, because there needs to be a level of trust. If you're trying to buy a bus ticket, and you have no idea if this website is completely fraudulent, you have no idea if you're actually going to take your ticket, you can't go and pay with mobile money or mobile banking or whatever it would be, and then get a ticket 6 hours later. That's not how it works. If you need to travel the same day, you need to know instantly if you get it or not. The same if it's a more offline transaction, if it's about like going, paying your cab driver, you can't really tell the cab driver, yeah, you know, you're going to get an SMS in about an hour and a half with a confirmation. So it needs to be instant. A bit the same, like it needs to be an ease of transaction, like it needs to kind of, there's no need to have a bank in the middle for the transactions to, there's no need to have a bank in the middle to have a well-functioning mobile money ecosystem. Truly mobile, again, it doesn't have to be a bank. Easy access to liquidity, so it's fine if I can get the money moving around within the platform, but if there's not a very well spread out network of agents, I don't have a chance as a company to actually go and take out that money and use somewhere else. And there's no point if I can send money to somebody else and then they have to travel all the way back 2-3 kilometers down the road to find a place where they can take it out. And then remittance, I think we've seen in Kenya has been pretty good to help pump liquidity into the ecosystem. Now, quite recently, Skrill launched that you can pay straight from credit cards into mobile money, and all this kind of creates this environment that's nice for startups to build products around mobile money, and that makes it very interesting for somebody like us as investors to look into putting money into these things and help pump it up. So. In short, the advantage of mobile money is what we're looking for when we're looking at it as investors. And again, here there's, I think the big point where mobile money really sticks out is in online payments, because online payments today you can't really do with credit cards on this continent because there's so few of them. But you do have this amazing opportunity from the first slide with all the mobile penetration and the opportunity for mobile money. And in online payments is really where it's interesting for us from an investor perspective to go in and look at where the big opportunities are. So we want to go in and build demand from there. And some of the initiatives that we've seen recently that we think are quite exciting from other telcos are what Millicom and MTN has done. So they've gone in and put money into Rocket Internet, and they've done it. Yeah, they took about, I think they both sit with about a 33% share now, and they're doing it with the same frame of mind of trying to come in and build up the product side of the mobile money industry by putting money into things like Rocket Internet. Safaricom and Airtel are looking to do the same things now in East Africa. Put money into that part of the ecosystem where you build and support the companies that actually drive the demand for mobile money, instead of looking at it more from the top of thinking how can we fix it from the top. They're kind of looking at it from the bottom of saying how can we actually help build products that make mobile money make sense. That was it.